up, guys? My name is Veronica. Welcome back to my channel. We discuss lifestyle and mental health content here on this channel. And today we are going to be talking about how to deal with anxiety. This is an interesting topic because it's something that I've been having anxiety over. I've been having anxiety over creating a video on how to deal with anxiety for the past several weeks. But I wanted to make sure to talk with you guys about it because it's something that everyone deals with on some level. I did also want to read to you guys the definition of anxiety before we get started. So anxiety, as defined by Oxford's dictionary, is a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, typically about an imminent event or something with an uncertain outcome. So the first thing we want to do if we're going to deal with a problem is acknowledging what exactly the problem is. It's not just the fact that you have anxiety. You probably have certain things that trigger your anxiety, and then you have a way that you respond to it. So right now, if you're thinking about, okay, sometimes I get stressed out and I wish that I handled it better. Well, how are you handling your stress right now? And you could say, I'm not handling it, but you are. Studies show that most of us have a fight or flight response to stress. So if you ask yourself, what is my current response to stress? Or anxiety? Am I stress eating, stress drinking, stress working? Do you run away to work and just work past your 8 hours a day, into the night, well into the early morning hours to get away from stress? Right? Instead of dealing with a problem, you throw yourself into your job. You smoke, you drink, you overeat. You're avoidant. If you get into an argument with your partner or your children, you can't talk about it. It's one thing to avoid talking about something because you don't want to start a conflict. It's another thing if you're avoiding talking about something because you don't want to deal with it altogether. Just because you are covering up a problem doesn't make it go away. I wanted to encourage you guys today to take a look at your triggers. 9 times out of 10, your anxiety deals with the fact that you might be overthinking. And that can be, I want to say debilitating. I wanted to think of another word, but I can't think of another word. It can be debilitating. You're constantly overthinking things, wanting them to be perfect before you do it. I can't start a new sport. I can't start a new job. I can't be around other people because I don't have all of my ducks in a row, so to speak. Sorry, I just saw my neighbor walking by behind me. But I want to encourage you to know that it's okay, right? Dealing back to that video we did a few weeks ago on perfectionism. Everything doesn't have to be perfect for you to start. Somebody's going to love you as you are. You just need to start doing it yourself first. And once you do that, you're going to attract people, authentic friends, authentic people into your life that are going to allow you to continue to bloom and grow where you are, because they accept you for who you are, because you accept yourself for who you are. So how do we stop overthinking? What do you do when you find yourself in a situation where your mind is bombarded with all of these thoughts about what are other people thinking about me, right? So if we can take a minute and step back and say, wait a minute, do I want to worry about what other people are thinking all the time? Or do I want to live my life? Right? What do you do to keep that anxiety from building up within you? You recognize the symptoms in your body of anxiety. I watch one of these YouTubers. Her name is Alexis, and it's like AWW Lexis, Lexis. And she says, Some of us have natural responses to stress that are subconscious in the way that our body is behaving, even our mannerisms, not just an internal chemical reaction. But you'll notice when you're stressed that your hands might be clenched in a fist, or that your tongue might be at the roof of your mouth. And so one of the things she says is to make sure you remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth. And once she said it, I started noticing, like when stressful situations would come up, if my daughter's school called, I had an immediate fear in my mind that, oh my gosh, something must be wrong. You know, like this just couldn't be a public announcement, which is always what that call is, unless she's not feeling well that day. But remove my tongue from the roof of my mouth, or you remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth, and it's amazing how quickly that can help you feel better. Look at your fists, open your fists, arch your back. I know one of the other articles I was reading mentioned the Wonder Woman pose. If you want to increase your confidence, put your hands on your hips and smile and arch your back, straighten your back. That's the Wonder Woman pose, or the Superman pose if you're a guy, and it will help increase your confidence and decrease your stress. What we want to focus on today is making sure you have the tools in your toolbox to deal with your anxiety in a more effective way, so that you're no longer having a reactive response to triggers. Instead, it's thoughtful, it's proactive, because you know what your triggers are, you know what your response typically might be, and you know what you want your response to be. You know how you want to feel in those stressful types of situations. So one of the tools that I have in my toolbox that I use to deal with stress, that I use to deal with, or to manage my emotions and my thoughts when I find myself getting into that mode of overthinking and overanalyzing, is to change my perspective. More often than not, I started to journal every day, and I found that more often than not, I would go into a situation with a image in my mind, with a picture, with a story in my mind of what was going to happen throughout the day, what that situation was going to look like. And nine times out of 10, when I was experiencing anxiety, the picture that I had in my mind of how the situation was going to go was stressful. And then I would end up manifesting that same stressful situation that I had envisioned, because I wasn't taking the time to picture it, everything going the way that I wanted. And if you're a religious person and you think about your belief in God in relationship to anxiety, you're experiencing anxiety because you're trying to deal with everything yourself. Even if you're not religious, that's not the way we're built. We're all here together because we need each other, right? And you don't have to be partnered up to be a full person and have a full life, but you do need other people around you. You need friends around you. You can have friends, family, other people in your life that you are serving, that care about, other people in your life that care about you. And if you're looking for a way to get rid of those intrusive, condescending, negative thoughts that we all tend to have from time to time, a good way to do that is increasing your confidence. And you can do that by serving others, by continually putting yourself in situations that allow you to sit with the feeling of being uncomfortable. So many times we're afraid to feel uncomfortable, so we don't want to sit in it, right? That those conversations that you have to have with a friend or a partner where there's an issue that needs to be addressed before it gets worse, right? So you can have a resolution or move closer to a resolution. So you've changed your perspective and your vision for how you want the situation to go. Let's say one of my triggers for anxiety involves being around other people and other social situations. One way that I deal with that is by looking around the room, especially if it's in a crowd of people or if I'm getting ready to do a presentation. I look for the person who's smiling, because I feel like 90% of people are kind and loving and want you to do well, and we all have the same feelings. So if you smile at someone else, they are inclined to smile back at you. So you look for that friendly face, that friendly smile, and then you're smiling. And then you force yourself to say hello to that person that's smiling, and say hello to 3 other people that are smiling. And these are challenges that you can do with a friend. If you have a friend that's also maybe dealing with anxiety or is a little bit more comfortable in social situations than you are, have them come with you and just do this exercise a couple of times a day, and you'll find yourself relaxing a little bit more, being more comfortable and confident in situations that you might have found anxiety inducing in the past. So practice makes progress. I think one of the other things that I've done that has helped me a lot with my anxiety is monitoring the food that I take in. Like, not just edible food, not just material food, but also spiritually, the food that I take in, the people that I spend time with. I try to spend time with secure, positive people. If someone's in a negative state of mind, they're talking down to themselves, they're gossiping about other people, I don't need that feeding my spirit in a negative way, because of course when I'm around other people, I'm going to feel self-conscious because I've engaged in that negative thinking pattern, and it's keeping me from showing up authentically. I have tied that negative energy to myself, and it's making me feel self-conscious, if that makes sense. So I watch what I feed myself in terms of food. I watch what I feed myself in terms of the television that I'm watching and the music that I'm listening to, and I go to the gym. And all of these things, like working out, working on your breath work, helps to increase your confidence and reduce feelings of anxiety. So what do you do when you have a stressful thought? So how do you deal with overthinking, right? When you have a thought that says, oh, this situation's going to be awkward, oh, I don't know if so-and-so likes me. When those thoughts come into my mind, I now acknowledge them and say, okay, mind. And I have a link for you guys below on a therapist that I've been watching lately, and she says this in one of her videos. You thank your mind for the thought. You say, okay, thank you, mind, for that thought. And then you ask yourself, is this thought going to serve me? So if you're getting ready for a presentation or you're getting ready for a test and you have these thoughts in your mind like, I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know if this is going to go well. You say, thank you, mind, for that thought. Is this thought going to serve me? And if the answer is no, you let it go and you focus on thoughts that you do want to have. I'm going to kill it at this presentation. I love everybody that I'm going to be speaking in front of, or at least I love my family. What a beautiful day it is outside. I can't wait to have coffee later. These are the topics that I want to make sure that I hit. I know that somebody is going to be blessed by it. If you're having anxiety over shooting a video about a YouTube video about anxiety, you're thinking, I want to make sure that I hit all of these topics because I know that dealing with the stress of anxiety is something that affects everyone from all walks of life at different levels, and it just depends. The only difference is how we choose to deal with it, right? And some people might have low anxiety, some people might have really high anxiety where it's time to consider maybe seeking help from a mental health care professional. But either way, it's something that we all have to face, and I want to make sure that we're dealing with it in a healthy, proactive fashion. I want to make sure that you guys are taking into consideration what kind of tools you have in your toolbox to deal with your anxiety effectively. Because if you're not dealing with your anxiety effectively, you're dealing with it somehow, and it's influencing the way that you live your life. It's keeping you distracted. Overthinking can keep you from accomplishing your goals. Overthinking can keep you from trying new things. Overthinking and stress can keep you from showing up in life, right? Because if I'm stressed out all the time, I'm overthinking all the time. I'm thinking about tomorrow. I'm thinking about something that happened in the past that I can't change, and it's affecting the way that I'm living today. I want to encourage you guys to not live your life in the past. You learn from it. You think to yourself, what can I think? What thoughts can I think that are going to serve me, serve others? What kind of music can I listen to that's going to serve me and serve others? What kind of friends can I hang out with that's going to serve me and help to serve others? Because what you focus on expands. So if you're constantly thinking, man, this is going to be a great video. Man, I can't wait to share all this information with you guys. Man, I can't wait to hear the comments that you guys have on the video. And please let me know if you guys have any tools in your toolbox that you're currently using to help you deal with anxiety. Please share those in the comments below. I can't wait to read them. But some of the tools that I checked in with my friends and family over the last couple weeks, and I asked for advice on how people deal with their anxiety and what they would like to share on this video. So we've come up with a few things. One of my daughter's friends, Olivia, had mentioned that when she's stressed, she tries to make sure, or makes sure that a part of her routine is to spend time alone by herself. You spend time in your room alone. You spend time with your own thoughts, being comfortable, being by yourself, being with your own thoughts, meditating, relaxing, and taking a breath, so that when you're ready to go be around other people, you can be a better version of yourself. And I don't know, that just made so much sense to me, because I feel like often we can get into this pattern of running on empty, right? Where you're just giving. You're asking everyone in your life, well, how's your weekend? How was your day? And you're focused on them and what they need, what's going on in their life, and what they're thinking about you, instead of taking the time out to spend time with you, so that you can show up as that better version of yourself. If you keep going and you don't give yourself a break, you don't give yourself time alone, you're going to end up burnout, and that's stressful. She was saying basically that she takes time to fuel up her tank by spending time with herself, so that she has enough peace of mind in her reserve when it's time to go spend time with other people. She can do that. So I thought that was wise. My husband also brought up another point when I asked him, babe, what's a good tip on how to deal with anxiety that I'm going to put in my next video? And he said, make sure that you're not creating your own anxiety, because it's something that we all deal with at some point, but that your health, your mental health, and your physical health are the bottom line. So just basically that so often we can become addicted to our emotions. And if you're trying to deal with anxiety in a healthy way, it's going to take time to create that new habit. So don't be surprised if you go through a day and you're calm and you feel like you're doing a great job managing your emotions, and you notice someone else that's having a bad day. And you think, oh, well, I want to help that person feel better. But on some level, you notice, you recognize that fix that they're getting, that stressed out fix that they're getting, and you're walking over to them and recreating that stress by asking them how they are. You can see that they've wanted to be alone, they've isolated themselves, and you allow them to dump on you. So all of a sudden you're stressed, and you've created a situation that has caused you stress because you're addicted to that type of emotion. And how do you know if you're addicted to stress? How do you know if you're creating your own stressful situations? One way to help with that is journaling, taking a walk, spending some time with yourself, not being afraid to sit in that feeling of being uncomfortable and write it down. So I'd encourage you to, this is another tool that I've been using for the past couple of weeks to deal with anxiety that's been serving me. So you get out a timer and you set your timer for 30 minutes. First, you set the time of day that you want to do this. Okay, it needs to be a time of day where you don't have a lot going on. Maybe you want to do it like late in the afternoon, but not right before bed. And you're going to set your timer for 30 minutes, and that's the time that you have to worry, right? That's the time. Any other time during the day where you're wanting to think about something that happened in the past that you can't change, you don't have time to think about it. That is you have a scheduled time to worry, and that's for this 30 minutes. You set the timer and you write down all of the things that are stressing you out, everything that you might have that you're worried about. If you can't think of anything that day, that's okay. You start over the next day. But as you go through your day and you're tempted to overthink, you say, nope, we save that for the end of the day. If you want to like write a little one-liner note so you can worry about it and write about it during that 30 minutes, fine, do that. But after you've taken the time to write down everything that you have been worried about or caused you any kind of stress or anxiety throughout the day, you're going to reread it to yourself and write down how you would have liked to feel in that situation, how you can repaint that picture into a positive visualization. Because sometimes if you're thinking, oh, this friend doesn't like me, maybe that's a friend that shouldn't be in your life, or maybe they don't have an issue with you, maybe somebody's not irritated with you, maybe the person is frowning because they have a bad day, or you say hello and someone didn't say hello because they didn't see you. Maybe they didn't say hello because they've had a bad day and their parents never taught them not to make their bad day someone else's problem, so they're taking it out on you. For you to remember to not take that personally. So as you go through your list that you made over that 30 minutes, you say, this is how I responded, this is how I want to have responded, this is how I allowed this situation to make me feel, this is how I wanted to feel. When I went out to that party or to that event and there were all those people there, this is how I wanted to feel. I wanted to feel calm. Or you paint the picture of how you wanted the situation to go, how that situation would have gone ideally. You came to the party, you looked around the room, and you found 5 people that were smiling at you. You told someone that, you gave someone a genuine compliment. You told them that you liked their shoes, and they said that they liked your hair. And you guys went and you got some punch together, and you listened to someone make some jokes, and you guys laughed, and you exchanged a couple of phone numbers. So just repainting the picture, like rewriting the narrative. And when you do that enough times, you'll start to notice that you can begin to manifest it in your real life, that you can begin to create situations in real life that help make that visualization of how you're going to respond in that type of situation a reality. As you're going through that day, whenever you have those negative thoughts, to remember to say, oh, thank you, mind, for that thought. You let it go. I can't wait to meet my next best friend. I can't wait to compliment that woman on her shirt. I can't wait to smile at that next person that's smiling at me. And when you notice your tongue touching the roof of your mouth, remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Take a deep breath and visualize. Visualize the positive way that you want that interaction to go. Another thing to remember is that because anxiety is something that we all deal with on some level, and we talked about before how some people have a fight or a flight response to stress. So if you're finding that you get into a situation where someone is not as kind as they could be towards you, to also not take that personally. That's how they're dealing with their own anxiety, is by lashing out to other people. And to remember that it's okay for everyone not to like you. I have people that don't like me, and that's okay. I don't want to be everyone's friend. There are some people that like to attach themselves to negative situations. They want to gossip. They want to tear people down. I don't want to be their friend. And that's okay. They're not at a place where we can grow together, and they don't want to be my friend. That's where we are. Or sometimes you might have someone else that's a great person, or that you think is a great person, and you're a wonderful person too. We're all a work in progress. And they might have decided that they're not ready to be your friend right now, but I want to encourage you today to change your perspective, that they're missing out, right? That person that has decided that they're not ready to be in a relationship with you for one reason or another, a relationship, a romantic relationship, a conversational relationship, a friendship type relationship, that they're missing out on you. And for you to say, okay, well, these are the areas that I like to work on with myself, and I feel like other people see them. Work on it. You can get there, one step at a time. And the first step is acknowledging who you want to be, so you can take the time to put those tools in your toolbox that are going to help you get there. I'm going to leave you guys with a quote that my husband says so often. It's from Stuart Smalley. And I know I've said this before, but you look in the mirror every day and you say to yourself, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and people like me. You can say that to yourself to help you deal with your own anxiety. I want you guys to excel. I want you to be confident. I want you to have peace. If you're stressed, take a breath, take a walk, spend some time with yourself, and be kind to yourself. And the more you do it, the more you practice listening to positive music, spending time listening to podcasts where people have a positive message that's going to build you up, the better you'll get with your self-confidence, the better you'll get at managing your emotions and your thoughts, until it starts to become kind of a second nature. To remember that when you put yourself in situations that are stressful, to forgive yourself for that. Okay, maybe I'm addicted to stress in this way. That's not how I want to respond to stress. Okay, maybe someone's upset with me and this is how they respond. How do I respond back? Sometimes you don't need to respond. Sometimes you need to give someone a minute to reflect on the way that they're treating you, to reflect on the way that they're showing up. You don't always have to engage. I like to give my daughter the example of a child throwing a temper tantrum, right? So if you see an adult and they're not showing up as the higher version of themselves in the moment, and they're saying some things that you find triggering, to picture them as a 3-year-old throwing a tantrum. You're a duty face, right? You say, oh, I was wondering if you could go to the store on your way to the event and pick up this for me. And they say, I don't have time. You're always asking me to do this and that. Instead of picturing just the trigger, picture them as the 5-year-old version of themselves saying, you're a duty face. I don't have to do what you say. You can't tell me what to do. And it will change, hopefully it will change the energy, the response that you have towards this individual to a more compassionate response. I know I was watching Jay Shetty the other day, and he was saying how monks, when they're training someone, even if the person is, less than half their age, or it's an elderly monk that is talking with a child that is 5 years old, the monk will bow to them, like all the way down to the floor. And it just got me thinking about how, like, if we start to treat each other in a way that's humble, right? If you start to acknowledge the Christ, the God within other people, it's going to change the way that you show up in that interaction with them, right? So you're respecting their potential, that higher version of themselves, of the other person, that highest version of the other person, that potential within them. Allow that to make you humble. You don't always have to respond. But when you do respond, that you allow God, the universe, to speak through you, so that it is with wisdom and not reactive. It's proactive instead of reactive. If you're at an event next time, you're getting ready to go walk over to talk to a group of people, and you find yourself getting stressed out, take a deep breath. Remove your tongue from the roof of your mouth, and picture enjoying some cucumber lemonade and Hallmark movies with me, or whatever it is that makes you happy and calm when you're stressed. Whatever thought you have, memory that you have that gives you peace and joy. Spending time with your family, your husband, your daughter, those are some of mine too. My brothers and sisters, spending time with them makes me happy, because you can focus on those thoughts and shift your energy so you can be prepared to deal with anxiety in a positive way. Sorry, I just saw a squirrel outside the window. I feel like the squirrel is listening to my video. Apparently, squirrels experience anxiety too. I hope this video was able to help you guys in some way, and that you're able to use some of the tools that we talked about on how to deal with anxiety and implement them into your life. But let me know. Let me know in the comments what you guys do to deal with your anxiety. And yeah, I can't wait to read your comments. Let me know what you guys would like to see in the next video. If you'd like to talk about IKEA, or dealing with grief, or Colorado weather, whatever it is, let me know. I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback, and I will see you guys in the next video. Be kind to yourself and others. Have a great day. Love you. Bye, guys.